Hey, it's Talia.
And Karen here. We're two best friends telling our story without unnecessary entertainment. Just the straight truth.
No smoke, just mirrors. We talk reflection, relationships, and the rigor of knowing your truest self. Hi, everyone. This is No Smoke, Just Mirrors. My name is Talia.
And I'm Karen, and we welcome you tonight to the bonus episode.
Woo!
We are so excited, yet nervous, ironically, because this is our first time recording back in the studio, or better known as my house. And we're so excited to be back with y'all. We have so much coming up. By this point, you probably heard all of season 1. So thank you so much for being all of our support so far. We are actually on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and now YouTube. So we hope that you give us that thumbs up for the like, hit subscribe, notifications, you know the deal. But we really want to thank you for all the feedback and all the love you've shown us so far. We are really excited to have finished season 1.
Wow.
It was probably the most interesting journey we've gone on so far in this pod. It took so long for us to get here, but we finally made it through. And today we're taking you on just a snippet of a little bit of a journey that we took earlier in the year. So, Tal, I'm going to have you say a few words about that.
But of course, again, honestly, much appreciated from everyone.
Yes.
Really do love the support. But we're going to talk about our pretty much amazing trip we just took for 2 weeks. Like, who do we think we are? Like, we don't have work.
Adulting is good when you're on vacation. That's all I'm going to say.
Pretty much. But we pretty much went to Argentina. Yeah, it was really good.
Just cheers. You're going to hear a lot about... We got to take you on this real journey here because it was the most surprising, interesting, and fun in its own weird way.
Yeah.
We were stuck at the hip for 2 weeks. And while you may think that that's comfortable, it got a little uncomfy, which we're going to talk about with all the best ways. But we want to take you on this journey with us because we actually took a quick pause from our everyday work. And with Pabs, we took a trip all the way to Argentina over this month of April. And now we're back and it's May. And we're ready to just get back into season 2, get back into regular programming, going to work, doing our own things at home and being out and socializing. But it was a good pause, I have to say.
It was nice.
It was nice.
But, you know, again, this is just a great adventure that we took. And we just can't wait to share it with you. So pretty much this episode is like, what happens when you travel? And a quote that we wanted to start with, the mantra, is where you go becomes a part of you.
Totally.
I thought it was very fitting.
It really was.
It really was. Because honestly, that's what just travel does for you in general. But now let's start with the nitty gritty at the first part. Basically, before any trip, like, who are you as a traveler? How do you prepare for a trip? Are you a minimalist? Are you an overpacker? What are you, Karen?
So maybe I'm biased because it's me, but I think I'm a great traveler, contrary to popular belief. Who am I as a traveler is such a good question to start off with. First and foremost, I'd say this goes in 2 parts. When I was younger, and this has just always been a trait of mine, I am overly organized. It's part of my job. It's also part of my everyday. Like, oftentimes in season 1, we spoke about how organized and programmed I am. And that's no different for vacations. It is a good thing to a certain extent, and then it's not a good thing. Because oftentimes I feel like I'm doing too much. However, though, in this time, I actually did the total opposite. Tal was gracious enough to take the lead prior to our travel, and I'll let her talk about that. But really, right now, I feel like I'm in the phase of I'm just going to look at the weather, see what the weather's like, pack accordingly, and just get up and go. I do consider myself a minimalist.
100.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I don't like carrying luggages. I also don't like carrying things in general. I am notoriously the person who doesn't even carry a purse. I'll carry everything in my hand. Like I have my keys in my hand, my wallet, my phone. It's just who I am, right? And so it's no different from when I travel. Like if I can have a fanny pack, which I have one black one that's hanging right there on the mailbox, that's as far as it goes. Like I'm not one to do purses and none of that. However, my compañera and best friend here is the total opposite, but she'll get to that in a moment.
Opposite attracts, clearly.
Yeah. And me and Pabs are so different. Pabs is like one shirt, one pant, I'm good to go.
A minimalist.
Yeah, completely. Which was a surprise to Tal. I mean, when you live with someone, you kind of know them, backward, forward, and such. But being with someone else in the journey really was very surprising. I'm just gonna leave it like that.
In a good way.
Yeah, it was. But anyway, I'm not an overpacker. I think I'm a minimalist. However, I do overpack in that I think of all the scenarios. So I bought like 2 jackets, 2 umbrellas. I thought kind of worst case scenario. I need to be prepared for one and all things, right? But yeah, I'm pretty much the traditional go with the flow person now. It wasn't like that before. I used to have like a detailed schedule, what we're doing every hour, bathroom breaks, blah blah blah. It really just went out of hand. That's what I'm saying. But nowadays I'm like, yeah, let's go. I know we're leaving this day. Here's what I'm packing, and I hope to God that that's enough. And if it's not, oh fuck well. And then now I'm just going to go back home with a bunch of dirty clothes, or hopefully I'm able to wash them somewhere. Like it's not at all, an overthought, if you will. What about you?
I'm the absolute opposite. The absolute opposite. I got to say when we finally arrived, cause we actually took 2 different flights. I remember getting there and I just remember them looking, you have a whole luggage for yourself. And I had a luggage, a carry-on, and a personal item.
So wait. Let's back up here. Me and Pabs are very minimalist.
Too minimalist.
We had 1 carry-on, and that's because we had to. But we had 1 carry-on and 1 checked-in luggage for both of us. Yeah,
for both.
Like, we're like, you're gonna take half, I'm gonna take half, and if shit doesn't fit. YOLO. Like it's not going. We're not doing this business of you have yours, I have, it's too much. So then it was interesting because in the process of speaking to our family members, they're like, hey, how many luggages are you going to have? I'm like, well, our plan was just to take a checked-in bag, actually. It wasn't our plan to take a carry-on. In retrospect, it wasn't going to ever work out like that because we had a bunch of shit to take. But our plan was just take 1 checked-in carry-on. You take a book bag, I take a book bag, and we call it a day. I'm like, but we're not coming by ourselves. Like we're coming with Tal, and Tal is definitely gonna bring a 50-pound bag plus a carry-on plus something else. I don't know. So anyway, that's how I felt about
I'm an absolute. All right, you consider me an overpacker, but I also look at the weather, make sure if it's gonna be 70, but is it 70 with a breeze or not a breeze?
It's too much overthought.
It is.
Just admit it. It's too much overthought.
Yes, but I gotta say, as I'm trained by my mom, we gotta have an outfit for every place you wanna go. I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna feel good with this and that. I literally had an outfit for the entire 2 weeks.
She had
while
like
I was out
2
there.
outfits per day.
Yes.
Times 14 days. Actually, we were there for 16 days. We were there for like half of a month.
It's a good while. Like, but I had like 2 pajama sets. I had everything, like literally I had everything.
You had like 3 of everything. And I'm like, where are you going?
I had extra shirts. I was like, you never know.
It's all about options, right? Like you have to know how you feel that day.
Exactly.
Yes.
And normally if like, am I feeling like a little dark? Well, then I go dark. If I'm feeling colorful, well, then I go colorful. I mean, like how many colorful pants?
We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes.
How many colorful pants did I have in that luggage?
I literally counted like 6.
Like highlighters.
And And I was just about to say thank you for saying the magical word. She had a bunch of neon clothes.
Dude,
No disrespect. No disrespect to neon clothes. People who love neon clothes. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just like, wow.
She's judging y'all.
I'm like,
You judging.
what happened to like denim in her suitcase?
I had 2 different denims. I literally had an outfit for all occasions.
Just mathematically speaking, though, all shit aside, 2 people, Pablo and I, took 150-pound luggage. She took 150-pound luggage just for herself. So, like, you quantify what that means per,
I don't
per
really see
group.
anything wrong with that.
There may not be anything wrong. I just think it's blasphemy that one person would literally take a whole checked-in luggage packed to the brim.
Girl
might I
gotta
add.
have options. I think girls gotta have options.
Yeah,
You
that's true.
Again, at the same time, like I said, you guys are minimalist. This is your type of vibe. For me, I'm just like, you just don't know.
Yeah.
I got shoes.
We'll give you that. We'll give you
I
that.
have bags.
A lot of bags.
A lot of bags.
And we're going to get to how many bags she actually used because we're just going to get to that.
Yes, true. I
And,
use very
and what,
minimal.
how much of
It
her
always
clothes
happens.
did she really use? So anyway, but give me
I had restrictions.
give me a little bit of your pre-planning vacation phase. Like, what is that about? Or maybe talk about this one specifically.
How I pretty much prepare for this trip.
Well, let's take it back to the beginning of when we actually introduced this idea. Do you remember?
I do remember you threw this idea at me at Friendsgiving.
No, by that time I already bought the ticket. It was before that. I don't know.
That was the first time you kind of. That's when I realized
It's an
you were
actual
serious.
thing. Yeah. So here's what happened. Like about a year ago, 2023 or so, sometime in that year, 'cause Lord
Great
knows I
year.
don't remember. Yeah, it was a great year. It was
Great year.
It was right after Cabo, right after me
Right.
and Pabs got married, and we were like, hey, we might be going to a country. We might be going to South America. And Tal, being the travel bug that she is, was like, hey, where are you going? I'm like, well, we kind of want to go away for the winter, somewhere either hot or somewhere cold. Like Pabs and I normally or have gone away sometime in the winter, but we tend to go to like cold places. But this time we were like, maybe let's go to somewhere hot or somewhere warm. So we were thinking Caribbean or like Iceland. 2 extremes for whatever reason.
Yeah.
2 extremes. And Tal's like, you know what? I'm going to make a PowerPoint for you all. Since you guys are indecisive about where to go, when to go, I'm going to make sure that you know how to make this decision. And I think somewhere in between, we had like told you just come with us just cuz. I
Right.
don't know how that came about, actually.
I just felt like you sat me down and asked me.
Did I really? I don't remember.
I felt very
You felt very invited?
100%. I was like, sure, let me make
Or
a
did
PowerPoint.
she invite herself?
Sure didn't. Sure didn't. I ain't going nowhere. I'm not invited. But
Bitch, please.
But I was like, if this is an interest, well, listen, you don't ever tell me no when it comes to traveling. You don't have to tell me twice.
Traveling is like her thing.
It's for generations in my family. But honestly, for me, it's just like, you know what? Let me make a presentation. I did the most beautiful presentation of not only Iceland with Icelandic music in the background. And then I did Argentinian and Brazilian.
Which PowerPoints aren't really your thing.
No, but I made it my thing that day. Mm-hmm. And I mean, how great was it?
It was great. It was good.
Argentinian music, and then I had some Brazilian music, and I had this
because we were gonna go to
right,
Brazil.
We were gonna go to both of those places.
Yes.
And I was just like, well, let me spice it up so I can get you guys in the mood.
Yeah, it was the whole thing about Pablo does not like planning. He is not a planner. Never probably was. Probably never will be. He's just like, you tell me when we have to leave and I'll pack my bag and we'll go. What he brings, I don't know. I don't know his thought he doesn't have a thought process for traveling. He just thinks like, I'm just gonna shove whatever I have in my closet to the bag and that's it. We're gonna make it work. Yeah. Whereas women, or at least us, we're kind of more fixated on, well, what's the weather? What's the trend? Looking on IG, what are people wearing? It's like this whole thing, right? And you ladies know. But once we actually got to the point of this could be a thing, we were thinking, let's do Argentina and Brazil sometime in the winter, arguably like Christmas to New Year's. And so Tal went above and beyond one day. She actually sat us down and sort of did like a pitch for what kind of country we should go.
It, clearly.
Yeah, because it was like an actual thought. It wasn't just like a hypothetical conversation. It was actually like it's either one or the other. So she did a really great presentation with music and with animations and all these transitions. It was great. I'm like, where did this skill come out from? Because you need to do it more often.
I was inspired.
Yeah, you really were. And it was
I
like,
wanted to go.
It was like one day to the next.
It really was. I was like, guys, sit down.
Yeah, the cocktail in
Please.
hand.
Absolutely.
Let's sit down and let's discuss where we're going. Turns out we didn't end up doing that in the wintertime because schedulings were off, and I think we didn't really pull the trigger until much later. But then Friendsgiving came along. We always host Friendsgiving at the house, and I'm like, hey, I kind of just like whispered in her ear. And
You
I'm like,
really did.
I was like, hey, just FYI, we just bought the tickets to Argentina last night. That I remember telling you. And you were just like, what? But I thought I was whispering. Apparently I wasn't whispering because then the rest of the table were, excuse me? Where are you going? How? When? Let's go. And I'm like, no, this is a family thing. Right? Like, and I love you all. That whoever was in Friendsgiving, you know that I love you. It is no shade. No shade to those who came to Friendsgiving. But that's kind of how it all started. So I just wanted to preface by saying that.
And I gladly accepted. But actually,
Instantly, actually.
I did. And I was like, but again, one thing is, for me, it's not a go until I have the ticket.
Yeah, that's true.
So it took me a minute for me to get the ticket. But again, I got it, but we didn't really tell anybody.
Yeah.
But I got it.
We kept it on the low, maybe because part of me also thought there might have been a chance that we didn't go. Like scheduling with all three of us is not an issue, but it's complicated, right? Like we have stuff. Tal goes travel a lot more than we do. And so a lot of it was, what about this week? How long do we stay? When do we stay? And Pabs and I really thought about it. And we're like, if we're going to do this, we got to do it the right way because it is a very long travel time. And I'm not about to go travel more than 10 hours for just like 2 days of vacation. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So once we decided, we all were really excited about it. I was definitely excited, and we'll kind of talk about why in a minute. But I don't want to take away from the first question for you, but what kind of a traveler are you in that sense?
Again,
Like once you got the news, what happened?
I was already preparing. Pinterest and all. Pin on the walls. You name it.
She kept saving stuff and like sending us stuff on
I was
IG.
screenshotting it. I was doing all this thing because at the end of the day, like I'm like, now that I bought the ticket, I was like, oh, it's a go. I'm looking at all the things that we gotta visit. We gotta look at what cafes, because if there's anything I love to do is drink a good cup of coffee. And Argentina is known for their coffee and their cafes.
Are
And
they
I
really?
just
Well,
knew-
cafes, yeah, I didn't know about their coffee.
Apparently, they're the capital of South America, which I might be biased because I say it's Colombia. But at the end of the day, I wanted to visit all the cafes. I wanted to do all that. So I had a list, and now I did another presentation.
That was a mini presentation, but
A
she
mini
did another
presentation of
presentation.
just Argentina and just saying like, oh, we got it. Again, I'm a soccer fan, okay? Even though I'm more for CR7, if you know what I mean. I'm also a Messi fan.
You can't say that when we're talking about like the mecca of football.
Facts. But I have to be honest, right? No smoke.
Just mirrors.
That's the
plug.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've always been a CR7, but I really do admire and I love Messi very much. And I was like, come on, this is
Messi,
Argentina.
te quiero.
I mean, if there's anybody that has more pride in soccer, it's the Argentinians. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to see the murals. I had all the things listed, even his favorite food on the menu of the food to eat. Like, I wanted for us to have the full experience. And I remember setting out that list, and you did this amazing little Google map.
Yeah.
With the pins.
So here's what she did. She did a PowerPoint slide of like restaurants, landmarks, What else did you do?
Murals.
Murals, shows. All this list. It was like a one pager of like maybe 40 to 60 items. It was a lot. And so she was like, hey, one day, and she would send us like all these IG reels and all these like posts. And me and Pablo are just like waking up to like 10 of these in the morning. Just scroll. You saw that one? That one's nice.
Your DMs.
Yeah, like hella flooded. Like I was in a hurricane of DMs of Argentina.
Category 5.
And it was comical, right? To a certain degree. We're like, yo, maybe there is so much to see. And it was interesting, one, because I had never been. Pablo had actually gone to Argentina a while back, but he hadn't been there for over a decade. So it's kind of like, but then you don't know what's new, right? So it was a learning experience for all three of us. But nonetheless, the PowerPoint actually helped, because what we ended up doing was creating a Google map that pinning all the different parts or all the different landmarks that she indicated on this list. And it helped us because we were able to calculate how much time, what kind of transportation got us to here, and sort of discovering the city that much quicker instead of sort of having an itinerary, for instance. Like a schedule is nice, but in the most modern way, like Google Maps is it. And what we realized also was that everyone uses Google Maps there too for like directions and stuff.
Which is nice.
Which is obvious, but not obvious because I don't feel like people do that here. Like people are just like, oh, it's on this corner and this corner. Done. I'll find it somehow.
I'll Waze it.
Yeah. Like Waze is their Google map for real.
Exactly. No, for real. But I mean, that was one of the ways I wanted to prepare for this trip.
You did your homework.
I did my homework.
She got an A for effort.
Hashtag research.
We didn't do shit. We were like,
I took the reins of it.
If you're gonna do all this, bucket.
Let me. So,
but yeah, and I think it's quite nice. One, so I don't have to do it, and two, because Tal is just like such a motivated traveler. It was really helpful. I felt like a weight off my shoulders.
You're very welcome.
Okay. See, like one compliment, and she's just like, "Thank you."
But honestly, yeah, no, that's pretty much how I prepared. And yes, I'm an overpacker because you just never know. You just never know when you need an outfit for this. Sometimes something spontaneous might happen that this is a perfect outfit for that.
Do you remember how many bags you took?
I took 4.
No, you took 6.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
How?
You took the little black fanny pack.
Okay, yes, that's for walking.
Then you had another small like wallet that you used at some point, I think, to go to the grocery. Then you had the white triangle one. I don't know. It was a weird. It was a
cute one.
It was a weird shape. I'm not at all the bag person, so sorry, ladies.
That was a nice going out one.
That one. And then you had another one. You had like 3 more that you didn't use. They actually stayed in your maleta the whole time. Okay, so you had like 6. Anyway, getting back to normal programming.
Different colors and different options and different shapes. I'm just saying.
Yeah. The shapes is what got me. I'm like, what the fuck is this triangle? What are you going to fit in there?
You had the typical square one. Fucking basic. But you know what? I love it and I was proud of it because it was two different colors.
I'm such a basic hoe, y'all. Like
2 different colors. I was like one dark and one light.
There's no sugarcoating it. I am like the epitome of a basic bitch. It is what it is. I'm not sugarcoating it.
No. My favorite was just getting up and just looking through my maleta, and you were just like, huh.
Wow.
That's what we're wearing today.
So much color.
So much color in that one spot. Yep. I'm a colorful bitch.
It was like a landing strip of like.
It looked like the Rainbow Mountain.
Monochromatic outfits, which, listen.
Oh my God, I love monochromatic.
For X, Y, and Z reasons. They look great on her. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just like, maybe not today. Like, there are days where you can do it. There are days where maybe you just got to do like jeans and a tee. And she slowly realized that the whole city was a jeans and a tee kind of people, but that's for much later.
But yeah, for sure. I mean, like, but to answer the first question, that's the type of packer I am. And honestly, as a traveler, I always prefer a window seat.
Yo, I was just about to ask you. Pabs is a window seat guy.
I'm a window seat.
I'm an aisle person. I hate feeling like
trapped.
trapped in that I have to ask someone to go to the bathroom, or like,
Hey, can you move?
or like, you know, when people fight you for the elbow, I'm not a
Oh my God. I had that in my first flight. No, I had that on my flight going back.
Oh, that's true.
But the thing is, I had no problem being in the window seat. Unfortunately, TMI, I'm a camel, so I don't really need to always get up.
You never got up.
I never got up on the first flight, but I got up once. No, I didn't get up on the second flight.
You didn't get up
We're
at all.
talking about a good 11 and a half to almost 12 hours of flight. Straight.
Yeah, it was a long flight.
It was pretty long. And I don't know if the airplanes are getting a lot more narrow or something, but we're losing space out here. Main cabin. All right.
Delta, we love you, but
Delta, come on.
just extend
Just
comfort.
a little bit of room.
Yeah, un poquitín. A little bit.
But damn, that was 11 and a half hours to
Yeah,
12.
I'm an aisle seat. Pabs is also a window seat. Surprisingly, because he just like doesn't knock out. I don't know. For someone who doesn't knock out, why are you taking the window? I have no idea. Cause like you're not looking out the window either. He just has like the shade down the whole time, and I'm like, what's the point? What is the point if you're like your people are losing visions? Like the people who sit in the aisle seat are always the people who like want to go out, look out. They do this to see, and it's the window people that literally have it all closed. It pisses me off.
I don't understand that. Personally, for me, I like to keep it open, but I know at night that
Same.
they always make us bring it down because they don't want the sunrise to affect when you're, since both of our flights were in red eye. But at the same time,
It makes no sense.
I don't. It doesn't make no sense. But I know that once the morning came up, I am the first person to take out my phone and take a picture of the outside.
Yeah.
I love doing that.
So what happens when you get to the airport? How early do you get to the airport?
3 hours on the dot.
You have to be on premises 3 hours. Or you have to be
Always.
checked in.
I need to be there 3 hours before so I can have time to check in. One thing I don't like to
She gets
do,
hella antsy.
I get
y'all.
exactly. I
Like-
get very antsy. I'm very much a on time person. Like I do not. If you tell me 3 hours before, I am there 3 hours before.
That's true.
I don't like to feel rushed. I don't like to be rushed or have that mentality of being rushed at an airport because at the same time, especially when I'm traveling by myself, I get very nervous. No matter how many times I've flown, I've always get nervous getting on a plane sometimes. But sometimes I have to calm my down. So when I'm there 3 hours before, get into my check-in and everything, then I'm already like, all right, this is going good. Then going through TSA, which by the way, FY, especially for JFK, and I'm sure LGA here in New York, TSA pre-closes at 9 p.m. Okay? That was something that I did not even know.
We use TSA pre, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I don't know because you probably got there before me. Well, your flight was earlier. My flight was later.
Yeah, but you didn't get there that early.
No, I got there at 9.
Right. Your flight was at 11:30.
Exactly.
That's not 3 hours before. It's 2 hours
Well,
before.
that's because I allowed my mother to drive me to the airport.
Love you, Maddie. This is no shade.
No, there
We
is
love you.
shade.
Okay.
It's just I love you, Ma.
Okay.
But you're not an on-time person.
She's going to put
She's
you on
not,
timeout for
that
this
ass.
shit.
But you know what? She's like, I ain't picking you up anymore.
Bitch,
But
take a cab.
Hey, honest is honest, but she just is not a. I tell her 8:30, she arrives around. No, I tell her 8, she arrives around 8:30. It drives me insane because I'm like, I could have just taken an Uber and just gone home, or gone to the airport. I don't like relying on other people sometimes, but hey, just to get a free ride, I will. But at the same time, it's like those little small things just already gets me antsy, and then arriving a little bit late and finding out that time, I'm just like, what? I thought it was
Yeah, what
supposed
a
to
bust.
be. Yeah, it was absolutely. And I'm trying to get everything ready. I'm trying to, I don't know if I have 50 pounds. So, when you just put it lightly on the thing.
Have you seen those reels where people like hold with the foot, like one side of
I
the
think I
thing?
did it once.
Yeah.
Sorry, Delta. But I think I did it once. But it worked out.
I mean, they kind of give you some leeway with like
They
1 or
do.
2 pounds, but then that's
No,
it.
it depends on the person. It depends
Yeah,
on the
some people are
person
shitty out here.
because there's some people that just want to fuck up your day and then just like, you know what? You're a pound and a half over.
So what happens after you go to TSA? Like, what do you normally do? Some things, or do you kind of
Yeah.
just go straight to the gate?
Honestly, once passing TSA, the majority of my headache is already gone. I don't know why. I'm always antsy right before TSA. And
You're antsy all the time.
Getting past it is already like a relief. And then now I go shop around. I see what's open. I'll get a little snack, have a little dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll start slowly walking to my gate. I don't like to be in my gate because then everybody's there.
It's also like
And
a weird energy. Like everyone's just so antsy
and
to get on the
everybody's
plane.
sitting.
And everyone's sitting down.
There's no seat.
Or you know what I hate? When people leave one seat in between like two groups of people, also an ick. Can't stand it. Like just move over so I can have the edge seat. I don't want to be sitting between two people who I don't know and I'm hot as fuck. And like, then where does Pablo sit? You know what I mean?
Yo.
Like, it's really annoying. It's really, really annoying.
It's just so I just like to walk around, scout
Yeah,
a little
us
bit.
too.
So
We
what
go
about
to-
you?
We go to the lounge. So we've actually gone to the Centurion Lounge. That's kind of our go-to. Thanks, Pabs, for your Amex. But we go to the Centurion Lounge, and it's quite nice because then you get to relax. It's a much more vibey crowd. You get cocktails. You get a buffet for the most part. It's really, really nice, actually. And you just kind of get to lounge and do your thing. You know, you don't have, there's no like pressure about going to make a line for food and things like that. So it's quite nice because then we actually get to have a cocktail. We normally like to get a little buzzed before our flight. Helps you sleep, but also we're just like, you know, let's do it right. It's a vacation. We never really get to hang out
Right.
until late and do our thing. So cocktails it is right before the flight. So that kind of gives us a little bit of an edge to go to bed as soon as we get to the plane. And then after that, we literally wait until the gate, until like the boarding time, and then we start traveling. Because unless we go on comfort, most often like we're in the main cabin, if not basic economy, which is what we did this time around. So we don't have to board right away, essentially. If you do comfort or more, great, love it. If
Good
you
for you.
don't, YOLO. It is what it is. You're going to the same place, whatever. But yeah, I normally do lounge, and then we actually don't shop at all. Maybe we'll pick up a snack or two, but honestly, since we've been going to lounges, like we're just full. Like we just eat a full dinner or a full lunch or a full breakfast, and we're good. It's kind of like we don't really even eat at home before we leave because we just do it at the lounge. Mm-hmm.
Must be nice.
Well, the next time we travel, we'll all go to the one at JFK.
I know.
The
it's
one at
gonna be
JFK is
exciting.
nice. Anyway, so here's the thing we're going to introduce as to why we actually decided to go to Argentina. First and foremost, it's a different country in South America. Both Talia and I, and even Pablo, have only explored to a certain degree the countries of our hometowns, right? Like, so for us, Ecuador, you've been to Colombia. Pablo has been to Peru and Ecuador. So we kind of didn't really explore that. But more importantly, the vision of our trip, meaning me and Pabs, was to visit a family member. So he has a sister who lives out there with her family, and we hadn't seen them in a very long time. This was actually my first time meeting her. So it was really nice to go out and see her, but also just to like go to the other extreme of the hemisphere. Like we live on
Yo,
the northern hemisphere.
Talk
and
about the tip.
yeah, and just the fact that like you're going 10 plus hours to a place that is arguably almost at the most southern point of the earth is
Yeah.
like bizarre. I think it hit me once we were on the plane and I'm like, yeah, we're on this bitch for like 10 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't know why it looks small on the map.
yeah, right?
It
like
really did.
it is what it is. But I think it was a great first time also for us because as we mentioned also in season 1, we hadn't gotten the opportunity to like voluntarily go on a trip together. We just coincided in Ecuador at some point in 2017, which was really, really fun. But we didn't really make an intention to go out on a trip together. It just never really happened that way for whatever reason. So this was a first for us as well. And we were all into the pod and we were already diving into a lot of what we're doing now. And so we're like, you know what, let's just go together. Let's hang out. Let's get some footage there and let's just have a good time. Like just 3 friends. We're always kind of together and we love it. We had a great time, but you'll hear about that in a moment. But we really wanted to just have a good time together and also just share some time with family, get to know a new place, a new city, and learn about the different cuisines, the different cultures and traditions that they have. But I want to actually touch about expectations. So we were actually talking about this over dinner just now, and like, what was your expectation for me, or what did you think? What kind of traveler did you think I was in general, in the grand scheme of things?
Low key, I was worried.
Fucked up.
In a good way, in a good way, in a good way.
Not in a good way, y'all. Not in a good way.
Listen, as Karen has expressed many times, she's lazy. Now, at this point, I was like, all right. And the reason why I went a little above and beyond, thank you. Reason why I went a little above and beyond with the whole presentation and naming out the restaurants and the murals and the things to do out there was to kind of see if we're able to do this, if we're able to walk around, see those things, because that's pretty much how I've done it before. And like, see new cities, you got to walk around.
Yeah, that's kind of the only way how you're going to do it.
It's the only way. I mean, the same here as New York. So that's kind of where I'm at. I know Karen doesn't like walking. I know Karen doesn't like doing, and not anything, but it's not in her, like, let's
nature.
go.
Yeah.
Let's walk around. So I was a little bit worried about that. I was just like, all right, let's see all these places.
Yeah, I can't say I'm not surprised.
No, yeah, that's kind of the only thing on my mind. I personally didn't.
What about P? What expectations did you have with P? Or did you have any expectations?
Honestly,
because P's a wild card, in my opinion.
He is a wild card, so he was pretty much on the question mark.
P behind the scenes.
He's the question mark. I didn't really know what direction he was going to be in a good mood, he was going to be in a bad mood, and then I'm going to play the middle one.
Well, it's also like contextually, you haven't ever been with us on a trip. We took a mini trip upstate. And that was fine, but that was like one night.
Yeah, it was
and
one night, 2 days.
You can't
tops.
compare one night to like 16 days. Yeah, that's 16. You can't.
No, and I was a little scared because even my mom and she's like, "Are you guys gonna like hate each other? Like, they're gonna be on top of each other?"
We didn't know to what degree we were gonna be together.
Yeah.
But I think the other part of it is, you know me, and you know that I'm never gonna do shit to fuck it up.
For sure.
But you didn't know Pete. That was probably
that's a wild card.
That's what I was worried about. So my expectation for you was, how are they gonna get along? Like, I can, for better or for worse, this is gonna sound fucked up, but I'll take Talia in any mood that she's in, right? Like, if she's in a good mood, if she's in a bad mood, if she's anxious, if she's sad, if she's like nostalgic, I could handle that. What I didn't know is how she was going to adapt to Pablo, but also how Pabs was going to adapt to her. Because, again, for better or for worse, I felt like I was that middleman of, I know you and I know him, but I don't know how they're going to know each other.
That's
right?
crazy that you said that.
Yeah, and I know both of you, so I figured it would work, but it's a coin toss. You can wake up one day in the shittiest mood and you're just going to be in a shitty mood that day. Fuck it. No matter what I do, right? He also is very much of the same character. So a lot of it was like adapting and finding soft ways to do certain things with both of them. Because as Talia mentioned, she had like a really high expectation for, well, we need to see everything on my list. That's why I made it.
I did not say it like that.
But not like that. But you had that expectation, right? And that's fine, because that's why you made the list, right? And then, you know, I was just like, yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to walk. I mean, can we take a cab to like a specific place and then we could walk? Like, that would be great. So a lot of it was just coinciding or agreeing on the terms and conditions of our trip and how we all travel together, and simultaneously work that in with Pablo. Like, we were worried about us first, and then we were also semi-worried about how to get Pablo to do all the things that we wanted him to do. That was
another. I was like this. Listen, Kay. Worst case
just
scenario,
fuck.
we'll just go and we'll let him be. Like, we didn't know what was happening. I personally didn't think there was going to be nothing between us. I just knew we were confident, and I was confident in that.
Yeah, for sure.
And at the same time, I was just worried about movement. Yeah, I was just worried about that. I was like, damn, if I want to walk here, maybe she doesn't want. I was worried just about that. Other than that, the dynamic, it wasn't too worried about that, but the only wild card I had was pee.
And it was interesting because along the time, and we're gonna share, but along the time, Tal kept asking me like, I just want to do this. Is that okay? I just want to do that. And I'm like, yes. What? I'm not here to control you. Like, I may want to go home, but we're not coming back to Argentina in a very long time, or hopefully maybe in a year or so. So you do and explore whatever you got to explore. And I think that's where you didn't really know how flexible I was going to be, because at home, I'm like, yeah, I'm out. If I'm tired, Pabs, we got to go. I'm out of here. So a lot of it was finding out that while we're in a different country, I'm a little more flexible, lazy, but flexible in the sense that I'm mindful that we're obviously not going to visit here for a while. So if you want to go into a store, this and that, let's do that. If you want to go here, fine. If we have to wait for a little cup of coffee for an hour and 45 minutes, what am I going to do? I'll stand here. Just fuck it, right? Like, there wasn't a moment where I was like, no, I want to go home.
No, that's true.
Absolutely not.
That's true.
And I, at some point, didn't feel well at all. And I still pushed it because, you know, it's not something that we get to do so often. So, and especially not together. So there was a lot of like consciousness around, let me be mindful of what she wants, what he wants to do. And hopefully they're conscious about what I want to do. But my wants were like minimal. Like, let's just grab water. Or like, let's just, I need to use the bathroom. I need you to buy water so I can use the bathroom.
Which
that was
we always made sure.
Yeah. So
for
like,
sure.
They know that about me. So I'm like, just, that's it. I'm not one to be like, I need to do this, and this. You need to go here. It was nothing like that. And I think that was the surprise for you to a certain degree.
Yeah. I mean, this was all just coming in.
It was new, ironically.
Everything changed once we landed.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything changed once we landed. And honestly, this just brings me to the question. I'm like, what is your first impressions of Argentina? What did you notice right away when we
landed?
When we got out of the airport?
When we got out of the airport, there was a big white and blue flag. Just like hella big, waving really nice.
Was high.
It was humongous. Right? Like, that was like the one thing that I noticed right away. And everything was white and blue, I think.
White and blue. I mean, like, again, the pride is high.
Yeah, like you never really see that here. Like, obviously trains are gray and this and that, but the trains there are white and blue. The airplanes are white and blue. The buses are white and blue. Sometimes they have odd colors, but for the most part, they're white and blue.
Manifesting that they're gonna have 5 stars instead of 3 stars.
Yeah, for sure. Like it was a lot. It was a lot. But it was very nice. I think you don't really get to see that in the United States. And so
for sure.
Unless people are like heavy on their state flag, but I'm not. Like, you'll see the American flag, but that's about it. Here and there, like at schools.
Try to find a red, white, and blue in New York.
But in Argentina, like as soon as you get out, there's like Argentina everywhere, right? Rightfully so, because they're trying to represent their country. But it was a lot. It was a lot, which is great.
No, and then we realized, I remember just when it was time for our luggages. We're talking about 2 big luggages, 2 carry-ons.
And 3 book bags.
Book bags.
Pabs had a duffel bag.
You're right. Pat had a duffel bag. Now, we get there. We finally meet his sister. An amazing family right there.
Amazing.
A doll. And then we saw the car. The car was a Suzuki. And if anybody knows what that is, it's a very small car.
Was it really?
It was.
It was
a Suzuki Plus.
It was a sedan. It was a sedan. Don't do my brother-in-law like that.
No. It was a small car, Karen.
Yeah. It was okay. It was small, but it wasn't tiny.
No, it wasn't tiny, but I gotta give it props. All our luggages fit.
Yeah, fuck it. If we had to carry that shit, it was gonna get carried, like one way or the other.
Oh, 100.
Yeah.
But it was definitely, and the thing is, like, all the cars were like that. I didn't see not one SUV-ish type of car. It was like, I think I saw one or twice, like 2 times max, the entire time I was there. I didn't see any big cars. There was a lot of small cars.
Mm-hmm. Well, also they're more compact, I think,
Fun
because
size.
yeah, they're more compact, I think, because they're gas saving cars. You know what I mean? Like they don't. So like obviously you go with your cost of living and the quality of living that's there is obviously whatever gets you cheaper gas is what you're gonna get, right? So obviously bigger cars require more gas and require more maintenance, and so people may not have it like that, which is normal. Normal, I
sure.
think, everywhere in South America too.
Yeah.
But places are more modern than others, but in general, like, people just stick to what they can. And we noticed that in general, the trend was the smaller the better, or the quicker the better. I don't know. But actually, we took a clip of one of our time. Was it our first day? Could you?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was like maybe a weekend.
A week in.
Because we were already on the bus.
Yes. That was our first day of the bus.
Yeah. So we actually have a clip that we'll post up here in just a moment. But we have a clip of our time in Puerto Madero. We took a pause one day that we were on our sightseeing bus. And here is a little bit of what we had to say. We are officially in Buenos Aires. Let's wait until you're done. We are officially in Buenos Aires. How do you feel about traveling with us specifically? So me and Pabs. So we're a couple, obviously, but we don't treat each other as such. Like, I feel like the couple aspect comes out here and there. Or this is just my impression, but then again, I'm not biased. Or maybe I am biased. But give me your thoughts.
Honestly,
Be honest.
I absolutely do love it.
Pablo's not on the other side of this camera about to trash your segment.
Honestly, I just really enjoyed how we all three vibe with each other.
Yeah,
We're too comfortable with each other.
Not in that way. Don't think nasty.
No están mal pensados. But it's just a great friendship. And I think they have adopted me as a child at this point. But I don't know, we've been all sleeping in the same room. And, it's just been fun. There has not been like...
I mean, there are days where you may just not be feeling it, but
that's fine.
Whatever, you get over it.
Again, it's nothing personal, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's like, at the end of the day, we still laugh till fucking 2:00 in the morning about stupid shit.
In darkness.
In darkness. And again, it's just like, that's why, I'm not really that mad with the downtime, because again, I'm surrounded by family, honestly. And that's because, like, I consider y'all been family at this point. But it's been so much fun.
Let's talk about mate.
I like it. And
First
I'm
of
not
all-
even a tea person.
First of all, Pablo's nieces are like the best
Gems.
girls. Yeah, like
Gems.
we haven't come across girls that are so humane, if that makes sense. Like, they're so down to earth, but
They
also
really are.
they have so much riz on their own. And like, each of them is very quirky and spunky and fun in their own way, and they're also sarcastic and
I know.
they're hysterical. Anyway, so they actually put us on tomate, right? Was it the first night or was it the second night? It was like right away.
No, it was the first night.
Was it the first night? Anyway, and there's like this whole artistry that goes into putting the mate in the matero, which is the not crater, but like the tea holder.
cup?
And theirs is of wood, so you have to curate the mate in a specific way. They actually have a blend of different types of leaves. Would it be leaves?
Yeah, it would be hierbas.
Yeah.
Like, one of mint, one has regular.
I don't even know, but it tastes really good.
I know. I love that.
We're definitely gonna take it back. That's something we're gonna
absolutely.
take back. The mate.
I actually really enjoyed it, and I actually I've been sleeping better.
I was a little off put by like what mate really meant until I tried it. I'm like, oh yeah, we could do this.
That
like
shit is strong. You could do it amargo, pretty much make it bitter, or
That's
you
true.
can put sugar.
Mhm.
Try to put a little bit of sugar, and the taste is amazing as well. But I actually like it with a little bit of sugar.
Mhm.
Oh my god, and the dulce de leche. It's
On 100.
It's literally when you grab a little scoop of a dulce de leche here, it's like pretty much diabetes in a fucking spoon. And
Yes, but also
But it's
it doesn't like hurt your soul.
it
I don't know.
doesn't. But you know what I
It's a
love
little
about the
much,
labels
though.
here, and
A little much.
we've gone to like Coto, which is like the supermarket here, and every bag that it says like exceso de grasa, exceso de calorías, like it tells you exactly what the fuck is in the bag.
Like, don't get me unless
Don't
you
get
wanna.
me unless you want to get all this calories.
Yeah, that's true.
And I appreciate that because again, you're telling me up front.
Right, like it's my choice if I want to do or die in
Right.
this meal.
But it's so crazy. Even the dulce is very different here, and it's a lot more rich.
Yeah, I would take back the quality time culture. I feel like there's such little quality time culture
What do you mean?
in large cities like New York. Like when you sit down, have dinner, or
All that?
there's very high quality. Like everyone is about their culture. Everyone is about having pride for the city. Like that kind of quality resonance is not something that I feel like we have in New York. Because New York, you're just in the hustle and bustle, and you're like, I got to get to work. I got to do my groceries. I got to do this, and it's just never like gathering, unless that comes from a more like culture aspect of your own country. But not many people have that. I feel like in New York, like people gather for 5 minutes. Good, I got to go back to work. Or like, let's go in dinner. Yeah, but I have a show. I gotta go. Everything is like really rushed,
That's
and
true.
that's kind of what
I
I
give you
don't
that.
like about it. Rather, everything is much more slow paced, and we've also figured that out in like Europe and even South America. Everything is much more smooth.
Yeah,
Take
they
your
don't.
time. Relax. Do you want to take a nap? That was a new one for us.
Oh my god.
Everyone takes
the siesta
naps.
is real.
They're like, yeah, just take a nap. We'll eat at 7, and then we'll eat again at 10:30. We're like,
Yeah.
Espérate.
Yeah, it's,
Whoa, whoa,
it's
whoa.
literally breakfast, lunch, then
Technically
6
it's
o'clock.
brunch.
Yeah, no, it's brunch, and
It's
then
breakfast,
it's
brunch,
right.
and then like evening, and then dinner.
Yeah,
Dinner's at
evening and
10:30, 10:30. It's
And-
crazy.
You know what's crazy? And it's I haven't feel. Excuse me for saying
TMI?
this. TMI, guys. I haven't feel bloated in this entire trip.
Me either.
This entire trip. We're eating 4 times a day, like good quality food, and I think it's because it's organic.
Yeah.
Also, that I haven't felt any type of way. Explore Palermo. I've heard so many good things about Palermo, and also they name it after Soho. You know who has a Soho in the original Soho? New Yorkers. Just saying. Also, I would love to go to a bar, low key, and just scream the muchacho song.
Yeah.
And then
She's been watching a lot of fucking reels. Let me just say that.
the pride is high.
So with that said, a lot of what we noticed, like we said in the clip, were just things that I think surprised us. But more importantly, that we find a little unusual, like the pride. There's a lot of unity, like family everywhere.
Yes.
Like
Very
no
strong.
individuality. It's most like groups.
Communal.
Groups was a
collective.
thing. Yeah,
Society.
everything is like collaborative, everything is shared, and everything is like family sized.
Very
It's-
oriented and family.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I think we actually spoke about this too a moment ago, that it's so interesting. Like Tal and I will hang out here even with Pabs, and let's say we go grab breakfast. You don't really think about what the other person wants, or you want to share with that person. You kind of just order your own breakfast, or maybe that's us. Like
Yeah.
she orders her ham and cheese croissant. I'll order a sandwich or like a croissant with something for breakfast, and we each get our own drink. But over there, it's like, no, I brought bread for everyone. I'm buying a bunch of stuff for everyone, and it's kind of like a takeout to go home situation. So it was nice. It was very, very different. And I think what we liked in this video also was that things were just so much more family oriented.
It was very inviting.
Yeah, everyone's
And
really
that's-
welcoming and nice.
That was really nice to see, because I've always heard like, oh, they think they're the best. They think this. They think that very highly of themselves.
Pretentious.
Very pretentious and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But I didn't get the whiff of that.
no,
at
neither
all.
did I.
And
At
with
any point.
like I didn't feel that with anybody, with the people that we've encountered, people we've met, and even with the family we were with, it was just so homey and comfy, and it was very inviting, and I just love that. Mind you, for me,
coming as a, even though you might say that I wasn't a third wheel, I was.
You were not the third wheel.
No,
for
but
the
I
love.
really, no, what I meant is just like, we were here to see also Pete's family, meet them for the first time. I didn't really know. I was just there. Okay. There was a lot of things.
I'm gonna beg to differ, but okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my counterpoint in just a minute, but go ahead.
You're going to be kind of, it's fine. But like I said, at first for me, I was just like, well, I'm just here. The best people to meet is you guys. This is the moment, right? I'm just a friend tagging along. And was my initial thought. And that's what I was feeling at first. But overall, when I was out there and being with the family, this is what I mean about just very inviting. They took me in like another family member. And it was so beautiful to witness and also experience. Because again, I was just like, I didn't really feel like, I don't know, not I'm not gonna say deserve, but like just, I wasn't the main focus there. But they really just pretty much gave us like this, I don't know, it felt like a hug.
100%.
100% of a hug. When I say I felt loved minute one, it was just a beautiful experience, which is why I'm very happy.
So back to the fact that you were a third wheel. She wasn't.
Okay.
She constantly thinks that she's a third wheel and you're not.
You know what? I just wanted to hear you say it.
Okay. So I fell into that one.
No, but at first I did. At first I did, though. At first I did.
Here's the shit with Tal. Tal needs you to tell her that she's the love of your life.
Yo. Yes.
Yeah, that she is the one and none other than the one. But really, I think you've learned we don't treat you like a third wheel.
No, you don't.
I think we don't treat many people like third wheels or fourth wheels or fifth wheels. We really just enjoy having people around us. Contrary to popular belief, we actually thrive when we're around people nowadays. And Doll is like no exception. Like she comes over for dinner or when we hang out, it's never like, oh, I'm making out with my husband at the corner or like none of that. None of that.
No.
Here and there, obviously we'll always show affection, but for the most part, we're really just like three friends hanging out. And this was not going to be any different. But I understand your point in that maybe things were meant to be more intimate, like family wise. And I get you seeing that you may have been the oddball out, but I don't think they meant for that to happen. That just kind of happened intuitively because there was just so much time between Pablo visiting his family and me meeting his family for the first time.
Yeah, it was major. It was a major moment. It was a major moment. You guys just got married.
In that sense, yeah.
Exactly. That's what I meant. It was like you just got married. You're meeting. He hasn't seen his sister in decades, and at the same time, it's the first time he's meeting his new wife. Like it's a major moment. So to me, was like important.
Yeah.
For you guys to meet, to like get to know each other.
But you're right. They did definitely give all of us, myself included, because, shit could turn for the worse. But because I'm me and because Tall is Tall, they basically adopted us, is what we're saying.
100%. They adopted us.
I was ready to stay.
Laugh.
Yeah, I was ready to stay for the rest of my life.
She was already throwing away her U.S. passport.
Yeah. But so maybe let me ask you, what was something that surprised you? If you can tell me one thing that really surprised you, what was it?
Of what? Like the country itself?
Of the country or
of
maybe...
how big it is.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I felt like it was like 7 New Yorks in one. The city was huge. And we didn't realize when we landed there that we were like, we're going to go here, we're going to go there.
We had a lot of plans.
We had a lot. Like I said, like expectation was high.
The New Yorkers that we are, we're like, oh, no problem. Just if you can give us like a Metro card or what they call the Supte card, we're Gucci, like we're Gucci. We're just going to take this. We already know the directions weren't really a problem. It was really the distance that was from where we were. We had been more towards Provincia, which are kind of like the suburbs of Buenos Aires. And we were on the outskirts, quote, the outskirts. It really was like half an hour in a car ride. But because traffic was so chaotic and so heavy, traffic was like an hour and a half or like an hour to anything. And
it was
like,
a lot.
Holy crap. That was probably the one thing that surprised me, traffic. The fact that like
You're right.
I'm down for Manhattan traffic, and like by all means, I've been in Manhattan.
Not the one lately.
I've been on the FDR with traffic. Like I've done, as a true New Yorker, you all have seen it, or if you lived in the East Coast near New York, like it is what it is. You know what the traffic is like. This was nowhere near that. It was probably 5 times worse. Like maybe going to the beach on a Sunday or Saturday in the summer type traffic.
Yeah.
It was
Oh my
really
God,
bad.
yeah.
It was really, really bad. And that
you're
was
right.
on a daily scale. So when we were trying to figure out, like, sure, let's get on a colectivo, which is a bus, we had seen, and it was like a 2-hour bus ride just to
Yeah.
get to one point of the center of the city, and then from there we had to take a train somewhere else. And I'm like, that's
and then transfer
crazy.
to another train.
There was a lot of
to get
transferring happening.
A
yeah, yeah.
lot of transferring.
Which that's not the problem because we're used to
Yeah,
it. But nah, not for like 2 hours. Like, what am I going
no.
upstate? No.
It was a lot, and we didn't realize that. So a lot of things in our mindset and our expectation had to dwindle after finding out where we were and how far we were from certain things. Which at the end of the day, we managed to work it out. Because thank God, Uber works.
Yeah, they had Uber, and even if they didn't, I mean, I think we would have just taken a cab everywhere. Like,
That's fact.
at a certain point.
Not to be bougie, but I was like this. Oh,
Yeah,
we're taking a
but-
cab.
And also, it's just like the theory of like you're in a new city, so obviously there are some reservations with public transportation and mass transit, and that's normal. So at some point we were like, "Yo, it's 8 o'clock in the evening, and we're still out. At what time are we gonna get home with this traffic? Because traffic really dumbed down or dialed down probably at about 9 or 10 p.m. Like that's the kind of traffic that people were experiencing there, and we're like, yeah, no." So we would stay out until like 10, right? Like 10, 10:30,
And
11.
then- yeah.
And then go home. Like we would get home at like 11:30 at night.
Yeah, close to midnight.
Just to make sure that we would get home in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? And even sometimes it was like an hour.
Because it was an hour to it was
That's
to 40
crazy.
to an hour just to get there.
That's crazy to
And
me.
everything we wanted to do was around the same area.
Yeah, yeah.
But then it took like 30 minutes to get to a lot of these places. The city is huge, and that was something that I did not expect.
yeah.
Again, this mindset thinking that New York is big. It's not. Nowhere near.
Yeah.
But yeah, Buenos Aires is a beautiful city, very big. And I mean, one of the major other surprises that I've noticed, many say it's the European country in South America, which it is. There's definitely a lot of streets that remind us of Italy, a lot of Paris. It also reminds me of Ecuador and Colombia, that, you know, some of the colonial areas. It just remind me and zone back to that. So it has a little bit of everything, which is very beautiful to see. And I love that in a city when it has just same as we have in New York. You know, we have pretty much the financial district is very pebbled and all that stuff, as well as
Cobblestones and stuff.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have that diversity. And I really do enjoy that in a city.
What were some of the things that you liked the most? Like a landmark, or what was like maybe your top 3 places that we visited, or top 2?
Top 2. I really do love the Palermo area.
Jesus Christ. Let me
Listen.
time out. This hoe was talking to me about Palermo
Since
for
we arrived.
literally since November of last year. Oh my
I wanna
God.
go.
It's like the bougiest place to go. I'd love to dine there. I want to go shopping, this
Yes.
and that. It was the furthest
blame me.
place that we had to travel to.
It was.
And I'm like, home girl. For someone who doesn't like I'll go for you, but like if you want to go on your own and you want to just take the trip on your own, be my guest. That's how I felt about it. I would never do that, but I kind of like, you know, slipped it in there.
so close.
Yeah, you were really close to going by yourself.
close to I'm like, I'm out.
So Palermo, and where else? Palermo's kind of like the Soho or kind of like
Yes.
West Village vibes.
Absolutely. It's definitely the Soho area. It's like the Soho for over there.
Yeah,
So it's just,
and it's actually called Palermo Soho.
yeah, it's called Palermo
ironically.
Soho. I'm
wonder-
pretty sure they got it from us.
I was gonna say, I wonder what they think the Soho means, and I'm just like, I wonder if they know that Soho is south of Houston Street.
I don't think they know that.
We should Google that.
We should
actually.
Google that.
Anyway, go ahead.
But
So
no,
Palermo,
yeah, Palermo. Mind you, there's 3 parts of Palermo, which is Palermo, Hollywood, Soho, and Viejo.
I'm looking this up right now, by the way.
So what's another one? I really love that area. Like over here, I was like, I belong here.
That's true. It was very Williamsburg meets West Village vibes.
Yes.
Like very dainty, very vintage,
I love
very like Bleecker Street.
Artist type
Artistry.
vibe.
Yeah,
it was really
yeah.
beautiful. And then another place that I really enjoyed was El Caminito.
Oh, yeah.
Very beautiful around the Boca area. As you can see, I'm wearing the shirt. Can't really see it. But that's a very beautiful area. I love, the stadium is within El Barrio. And I thought that was really nice to see. And I just like the little small streets and the murals everywhere. That's something I really do enjoy is the street art, especially of Messi with Diego and stuff like that. That was really nice to find. Because honestly, you would think it would be everywhere. No, they were like finding a needle in a haystack, these type of murals.
That was the biggest thing that also surprised me.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be everywhere.
On IG, it's like Messi apparently is everywhere all over Buenos Aires.
Absolutely.
That's not true.
He's on the ads.
There are a lot of like cardboard posters of him everywhere. Like
Everywhere, yes.
that, yeah, with like his new Inter Miami jersey. Is that what it's called?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that some people were wearing the jersey out there.
Yeah, all good, but murals per se, they were super hard to find. Or maybe we
Very
just didn't
hard.
look that hard, but they weren't as obvious as we thought they would be.
Yeah, I really
just,
thought it would be
I
everywhere.
just want to mention that it says, why is Palermo Soho called Palermo Soho? It says the name comes from the Soho of New York City and London.
Boom. I mean,
What up, New York City?
NYC.
Stands up.
God, we do
Anyway.
make an influence. I
So,
love it.
okay, so Palermo and you said Caminito you really enjoyed?
Yes, and Caminito, and I also love the Obelisco. I thought it was really beautiful. I know that we have a small version
El
of that,
Lápiz.
but I just love that Argentina has a bigger pencil.
Then Washington, D.C.?
Yeah. They're not even a state, aren't they? Sorry,
Technically,
DC.
it's a district, but
That's it.
is it? Yeah, I think so, right?
it.
District of Columbia? Anyway.
But yeah, no, I thought it was really beautiful, and the way it was penciled, and just a lot of major historic moments happened in that area, especially when they won the World Cup not too long ago in 2022 in December. So it's just nice to, I don't know, it's nice to walk down the streets and see all the pride and the beautiful, and the flags were everywhere. Again, it was a beautiful city. I think another thing that surprised me as well is how great the city was. I guess I'm used to, especially for South American country, especially like I've been to Colombia and I've been to Ecuador. It's very colorful, especially Colombia. Colombia is very, very colorful, and you see the vibrancy, and even in the Caribbean, it's very, very vibrant and just full of life and colors and stuff like that. Argentina is not like that.
It's very like neutral.
Very neutral, very gray, very blue.
Well, understatement. But
yes,
yeah.
but it was very one tone type of color. So yeah, with my highlighter outfit, it wasn't gonna work. It wasn't gonna work because I was gonna stand the fuck out. Like that's why
Like
they
a
were
sore thumb?
like a sore effing thumb. And I just remember they were saying, I wouldn't wear that. I wouldn't wear that. So I had to dial back a little bit because of that. And I also didn't want to have a target, like tourist. But again, that was one of the few things that I also noticed of the city. And yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
I actually, probably the top thing that I like, which you're going to say, oh my God, so obvious, was El Parque de la Historieta, which was in San Telmo. And it was, because I'm the old grandma that I am.
Jesus.
The one thing that I ever cared about going to Argentina was going to see Mafalda, which is the major, don't laugh at me.
No, it was cute.
Which was the main sort of comic characters in all of Argentinian newspaper, and they're kind of like the most historic ones. And so there's this neighborhood designated to them in San Telmo, which is probably about east of the microcentro, right?
Yeah, it was
because the
right in the middle.
microcentro is where the obelisco is. That's sort of the micro center, which is kind of like the Times Square, if you will, of the city.
A lot of resemblance.
Yeah, right.
A lot of resemblance.
And outside of that, obviously there were other parts that still sort of combined or formed part of the centro itself, and San Telmo was one of them. And within San Telmo, there was this sort of area that's called El Parque de la Historieta that really honored the city's oldest comic characters. And Mafalda is one of them. I actually ended up getting a keychain and a tote bag thanks to Tal. But that's kind of like why I wanted to go. Simply because I'm sort of drawn to the more traditional and historic parts of a city. The area of San Telmo was just so nice in that everything was cobblestone.
Beautiful.
Everything was a very colonial meets old town kind of thing. Like they really gave me old town vibes.
I love that.
Yeah, I really love
Very
that. That's kind of like
vintage.
where I thrive. Very old school, like take me back to the 30s kind of thing.
Yes.
And it was really nice. There was a lot of people. There happened to be a what is it called? A feria. We went there on a Sunday, and they have these ferias where a lot of people essentially is a flea market, right? Where you sell used things, you also sell new things, and it's kind of like a mom and pop way of small businesses to sort of get their merch out. But there's a lot of people out there, and they have like little, maybe we'll post some images, but they have statues of the Mafalda characters around that place, but also honoring the others that have formed part of Argentinians' history, which we took a picture of. What's her name? Like that grandma looking one?
Oh.
La Tia Concha? I think it's La
Was
Tia
that the
Concha.
It's a good picture.
Yo, it was really great. And
I might post it.
yeah, we're gonna post it up. But it was such a nice place because it really reminded me of like the nostalgia of the city, and more importantly of a colonial place. I'm very old town gal. I love old towns. I love being not in the trendy zone. Again, polar opposites here.
I like both.
You do, but you'll stay in San Telmo for like a little and then be out. I could spend my whole vacation there. So again, just very different dynamics, but that's one of the places that I really, really enjoyed. And it really just took me back to the more historical parts of other places in South America, specifically Ecuador, which I formed a part of for a long time. Outside of Parque de la Historieta, the other place that I really liked was next to La Casa Rosada.
Yes. It was
So-
nice at Parque.
Right. So we, again, a very old
Wasn't
town
that
place.
Cinco de Mayo?
No, that's Nueve de Mayo.
9 de Mayo.
That's the name of the park, I think, or
Was
plaza.
it? Yeah.
But next to Puerto Madero, which I also really enjoyed, Puerto Madero is
That was
definitely
pretty.
one of my faves. Trendy, but a very long boardwalk, very much like the West Side Highway, if you will, but just with restaurants and bars. And it was just kind of like an open place for you to watch a tango show in the middle of the
That was
in
amazing.
the middle of the bridge. It was the Puente de la Mujer.
Yeah, Puente de la Mujer.
Puente de la Mujer. And it was really nice. It was really nice to be outdoorsy, even at nighttime. We actually happened to go in the evening time. But right next to Puerto Madero, we actually went up to La Casa Rosada. And that was kind of like the one thing that we visited that first night.
Yeah.
Was it the first night?
It was the first
or
night.
the second night? Because that's when we went with Sarah. That was like the second or third night. And it was just such a beautiful thing to see. I think for the history, but also in general, because it's not something that you commonly see. Like, who sees a huge pink house? Or it's like a very significant landmark, but it's not a house. But
She was looking at it as a landmark. I was looking at the next Barbie house.
yeah, we're like, where's Barbie? let's not mess up Argentinian landmarks for Barbie.
No, of
Love
course
you,
not, of course
Barbie,
not.
but also it made so much resonance for us, given that we were really high core about Barbie in a few months past.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's transition into like what were, now that the nice things are out of the way, what were some of like the more uncomfortable parts? So let's just quickly go through. Was there ever a point where you felt uneasy between the dynamic of us three, and how did you deal with that and adapt to it? I'm going to let you take that first.
You wanted to, right. Okay.
I'd love
Well,
to hear, and Pablo's hearing behind the scenes. So.
I mean, what I think about our dynamic, it was good overall.
I think it was good too.
I think it was really good. I think there was a day. There was a day. It was the day we had the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So we took a 2-day bus, hop on, hop off type of thing. And we did the first day. First day was great. We had a good time. Now the second day, I just remembered I'm trying to get I had to work out there. So I took most of the morning to work, and then I'm hoping that by the afternoon, by no later than like 12 noon, to get out the door. Now, what made me a little annoyed at this point was just like, so the thing is, which it worked out in my favor many mornings out there, was that we would have breakfast around 9. And then after that, we literally would sit there talking till noon. And even past noon. And I remember that I was like, well, I remember after breakfast excusing myself, and I went to my room and pretty much try to get work done and stuff like that. And at the same time, get ready. Because my mentality was, I'm trying to get all this work done so we can have at least part of the entire afternoon. And then pretty much, remember, we didn't have a lot of good days out there. It was very limited on. We had a lot of rainy days, so we didn't really have too much sun. So today was actually a very beautiful day. And again, limited sunlight. So I was trying to get my work done, get everything squared away, get ready, because I do take a little bit long to get ready. So I was already doing a head start. And at this point, me and P already showered and stuff like that. And I just remember that Karen is left to shower. And so in my head, I was just like, she didn't follow me. So I'm hoping that she can come to the room so we can get to the shower and get out. Again, this was something that we have purchased prior
to. Yeah.
We purchased this prior, and again, it closes at 6:00, so it was a very short day. And I just wanted to make the most out of those 2 days, especially with the hop on, hop off, knowing that the city is so big, and this has been the best thing that we have been using in order to get around a lot of the cities. And we only had those 2 days, especially when we've been home during the week. And so for me to finally get out, because at one point I did feel trapped. And of course, as we explained before, the distance was more than 30 minutes, 40 minutes just even to get there. So already having that set in mind, we're already losing a lot of hours and just enjoying in this bus. So I was trying to get myself ready and stuff like that. And I think at one moment I'm like, I only have these 2 days to really enjoy the city. So when I saw her kind of taking her time and not really coming to just shower so we can go and at least enjoy this, because I know the next day we're going to be home, that ticked me off a little bit. And I just remembered you came in and you were in a happy mood. And I just remember I was just like saying, hey, hurry up. I did like the time. And she was like, oh, don't get mad. Like, it is what it is. We're taking an Uber. And that just kind of pissed me off a little bit, because I was like, you know, you're not here on your own. And I understand the conversations that with family is very important. But we haven't really done much to get out. We haven't done anything. And I'm only really asking to at least pretty much take advantage of these 2 days that we have getting a ride throughout the city and just enjoying and seeing as much as possible. And that was kind of my head thought about it. And I know she got annoyed about it from that, to the point that she did her makeup in the bathroom. That's how I know.
didn't.
Yes, you did.
I just brushed my teeth in the bathroom.
You did your eyeliner.
Oh, well, because I needed a mirror, but yeah.
There was a mirror in the room.
Yeah.
But I know that she didn't want to be in the room with me. So that's why I removed myself out of the room. But like that already started the day off bad. And I already know she was annoyed just by the way she was acting coming in and out of the room. And after that, I was just kind of just...
Like, fuck it. The day's gone.
The day's kind of gone, but I'm like, at the same time, I didn't really think I was unreasonable. Because I just didn't think I was unreasonable ask. Especially when we've been home during the week. You know, of course, there was things going on in the city, and I'm not just saying it was just a choice, but there was things going on in the city, like protests and stuff like that. So we were already in for the majority of the week. So that was kind of the only time we, personally for me, I've had a little bit of a.
We were clashing antlers.
We were clashing antlers.
That's our
I'm
new
not gonna
thing.
lie, I really like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably the only time for me. That's all I got.
Okay, I'm gonna say my part to that.
Say your part.
So here's what happened. Yes, as common as it is, I think for us, and I say us meaning me and Pablo, but specifically for me, it was really important to have like a lot of family time because it was the first time that I had met, you know, that side of Pablo's family, etc. But it just so happened that like, again, because of the unity of the family, and I think in general the unity of like that's their aura of like family gathering, long table talks, which we kind of learned. It was probably
beautiful.
about week 2. Like
yeah.
week 2 is when it really set in, because we're like, all right, this
We're doing
is
it
nice.
daily. We're doing it daily.
But it was like daily discussions of long table talks, and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
She's definitely not, and neither is Pablo. So it was a lot of that mixed dynamic. And what really happened, and I'm not saying your story is completely true, but what really happened is when I came in, apparently Talia had texted me. Did you notice that my cell phone was on the bed?
Notice.
I didn't even see it because my cell phone wasn't even with me.
Oh my God. Okay,
So
yeah.
when I got to the room and she was like, "Are we gonna get ready?" And then she kind of was like, "All right, let's move it." And I'm like, "Oh, bitch, don't clap at me."
I did not clap.
You clap.
I did the time.
No, you didn't. You clap.
I did the time.
That's what ticked me off, right? Because I'm like, here we are. I'm being flexible in that you have to work, right? No one's taking time off. There was a time where she felt really ill and we were home for 2 days, right? Like that, no one took that away. But I was like, hey, we've also been a little bit flexible. Like I understand that there was a part where you maybe had to have work, and she did stay up late working, and all kudos. Like I wouldn't do that. I purposely took off, but that wasn't something she could do. So I'm like, here we are, us being flexible as a family, as a team. And like the fact that you think, honestly, in my mind, I'm like, the fact that you think that just because you're ready, we have to be ready, that's not fair. Right? Like I'm all about fairness. And I'm like, there was just a lot of table talk, and I can't remove myself from that. You could, but I can't. I'm like, there was some serious conversations happening, and it couldn't just be like, hey, I'm going to leave because we need to get the hell out of here. Like that's how I viewed it.
Not true.
And I think you just didn't know to the extent of what the conversation was, obviously, because you were working. So it was just like a moment of miscommunication from both ends. But then once I knew that she was annoyed, because as we mentioned earlier, we already know how to take each other off. And it was just a moment of, I'm annoyed, we want to leave. And then I'm like, well, don't be annoyed, because it's not like we're going on the bus anyway. We're going to take an Uber. And yes, it's going to take a lot of time, but oh, fuck well. Like, it's going to take us a lot of time, even if we take the train, even if we take the bus, or even if we take an Uber. So if you don't necessarily rush me and I get ready pretty quickly, I don't take long. I'm going to get ready in 10 minutes. 10 minutes is not going to kill you. 10 minutes is not going to kill the world. So now that I'm here, now that I've been able to remove myself, all I need is 10 minutes of your time. And I really was ready, I think, in like 5 to 10 minutes. Like it was really quick. I'm not one to like linger around this and that. And it kind of messed up the day at the very beginning, because I'm like, there just needs to be distance. Like we just needed time to like chill out, take the bus. It was awkward. But at the same time, I'm like, what else can you do? It's never going to be a perfect situation. I think that's like one of the things that we both learned about each other, where we're like, you know what? You may get annoyed. I may get annoyed, but cool it, take some time, and come back when you're ready. And that actually happened the day we went to the Barrio Chino, right?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of tension between her and I, and Pabs was like somewhere in the middle, and he was like, I don't know how to handle this. Like, this is girl drama. This is not me. And he's all about not doing drama. And so he was just like, what's going on? I'm like, whatever you do, just don't let her sit next to me. I remember like, that's literally what I told him. Don't roll your eyes.
Because I remember you saying that, because I even heard something when you were coming into the car.
Why would I sugarcoat it? It would be dumb for me to actually sit next to you and be squeezed next to you for a good hour.
Understood.
It's just not, right? And so we both know that about each other. And it just made it that much helpful to have him around. And then I'm like, you know what? He was very friendly, and kudos to Pabs because he really triaged the situation between us two very well. He handled himself very well. He was talking to Tal and talking to me and then talking back to her. Like he really helped sort of cool down the tension between us two a lot, which was also really surprising to me. I'm like, wow, you really stepped it up today in his own way, but he never really made sure she felt isolated, even though he understood that I was mad. And I didn't even give him details. He just saw my face and he's like, all right, we have this today. Let's deal with it today. I didn't want him to think negatively of the situation at all or be biased because I'm his wife, right? So I didn't give him any details. I'm just like, let's be out, let's do this, let's do that. And it ended up being such a nice time. And that's when we went to get this coffee that Tal had seen on IG. We waited an hour and 45 minutes, but the minute she saw that there was like an hour-long wait, she's like, we don't have to do this if you don't want to. And I'm like, well, listen, do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And I was like, we already came here. Like, if we're here, we're not going to come back to this. This is the only moment we got. So don't worry. Just get the ticket. Let's stay on the line and we'll do it. But she was so on edge because she knew that I had already been pissed, and it takes me a long time to get unpissed. As does, I think, with you. We both have like our triage moments because we both think we're right. And it takes a lot of like defusing to get us to a happy place. Yeah.
No,
I think it was only until that point that we were like, all right, it's cool now. Had I been like, no, I want to leave, it would have been annoying for like the next couple of days.
Oh, 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so like she put the ball in my court, and absolutely, like I don't drink coffee. I could give two shits if there was an hour long ride. I didn't want to stay, but guess what? We're only in Argentina once. And that sort of brings my point back to, even though I do have my preferences as a general human, I'm also very cognizant of like, they like coffee. So she got one for her and one for Pabs. And there was a time where you kept insisting, right? Like you're like, what if I can do tea? I'm like, I don't want anything. Just get for you and Pabs because this is a coffee thing. And I'll take you pictures. Like, I'm like, I don't drink coffee. So that was kind of like our defusing moment after that. But, you know, like any best friendship, like we have our ups and downs. It's not all peaches all the time. And that's the beauty of it, because at least we know that we can trigger each other and then like diffuse the waters. And in that same way, remember we were talking about the thing that happened in the cafe, Tortoni?
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about it just a couple of days ago. So there was another moment where me and Pabs got into like a quick thing, and we were sort of butting heads, if you will. And she didn't understand my point of view until we got back and we sort of debriefed her. And she's like, oh, actually, my bad. I shouldn't have laughed at something that really was annoying, like, you know, to a certain degree. So it was a lot of like figuring out, now that we're adults, it's a different sensitivity around what you want, what I want, what she wants, what he wants, and so on, and how we can make that work. But yeah, I say that that's like the only time that we really clashed antlers, if you will.
Sure.
Or had a disagreement. Other than that, I think we were pretty good. Like once we got on the ball, we're like, yeah, let's go do this. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go here, do this. Let's take a cab to here. It was very much, let's go and see what we got to see, because there was so much land and there was very little time for it on a nice day. Tal was also working. We all felt ill at some point, even if it's for 1 or 2 days, but we all felt kind of groggy at some point. So there was dealing with that. There was also like bad weather to a certain degree. Like there was a lot of factors that kept us indoors, but I think we made the most out of the outdoor scenario, even in the time that her and I felt tension. And it's all really about adaptability too. So that's that. All right. Before we get to what happened after the trip, or sort of a debrief of what our thoughts and explanations are, let's talk about the fam. I feel like the fam need to get their own segment here. I know this is a long pod, but the fam need their own segment because they were the best of the best.
It was
Los mejores. I can't say anything different other than I love them. They love us.
Yeah, no, an amazing family.
Yeah, welcomed us with open arms, funny, quirky, charismatic, just every good quality at least. We lived with them for 2 weeks. It was amazing. We had so much good times. We had cocktails. They showed us different traditions, which is what we have here today. We're actually drinking some mate thanks to my nieces who showed us how to drink mate.
Yes.
Introduced us to it, and we actually ended up buying our own mate with a bombillo, and we brought it back to the States. I think is a really nice thing. We have so much love for them, and I say we, speaking of Pabs and I, we had a really great time. It was a really great time to get to know them. We actually took a little bonus trip to Uruguay for the day, and that was really nice. So we got some like family bonding time every day during like breakfast and dinner, but also for that one day that we did a quick day trip to Uruguay, we did some wine tasting, bike riding, mosquito biting, walking.
That was
Tal got
painful.
chewed up by all the
Literally
mosquitoes.
like a buffet.
We did a lot of boardwalk walking. We did a lot of pictures. It was a phenomenal time.
It was
phenomenal
beautiful.
time.
And we actually went for one of your niece's birthday.
both
Well,
of them. Well, technically one of them.
One of them, but the other one was a week away.
Yeah, not
So-
even a couple of days. So it was really nice. We had a beautiful time, absolutely beautiful time, and we love them.
Yeah,
I love them
absolutely.
for sure. Anything that you want to say on the fam?
Honestly, they were just amazing people, and just in pretty much adopting me and inviting me in. Me, not even,
yes.
they didn't even know me, right? So I'm just a stranger that just
Same.
arrived at the house. But they were feeding us 4 times a day.
Yeah, that was so
They
crazy.
were so generous with their time. They even took off to show us around. They drove us around. They were just amazing. And you know what the beautiful thing is? That there was so much love in that house
Absolutely.
that it was all right to be home sometimes.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
I like being home.
She likes
But
being home. I'm not. But
I didn't mind it at all.
at this time, I didn't really mind it because the company was just so great.
Mm-hmm.
Las parrilladas that they had for us.
The
It was just
asados, yeah.
beautiful. It was just such a great, I don't know, it was just a lot of traditions and a lot of values that they shown through their actions. And I just pretty much wanted to adopt that and bring that back home. And it was just a beautiful experience. And it's so, I feel very blessed to say
Me
that we
too.
have family out there in Argentina. And I mean, we could not have like shown that more on our last
American
day.
way.
And then on the last day, that was a hard one.
Saying goodbye was very difficult.
Extremely difficult.
I mean, it was like a crying fest.
Like sobs.
Poor agents that like had to witness that.
Who?
Like the agents like that were ticketing people.
Oh my God,
Those two people
yeah.
there were like these 2 people right beneath the escalator. They were like, just stop. Like they were side eyeing. We were like, oh my God.
It was so bad. Like
Very
the
emotional.
crying- Oh my God.
The crying fest.
Extremely emotional.
Yeah. Also, Tal hates goodbyes, so that's it.
The worst. But you know what's funny? Like low key, I was just like, you know what? I'm ready to go home. It's been 2 weeks. It's been an amazing experience. But Jesus, there was one point that I was just like, oh my God. I remember just driving there. When I saw the girls waiting for us, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. It was odd. We didn't know until that moment. And nobody wanted to say it. Like there was
Yeah,
one
I
point
broke the
that,
ice.
Yeah, you broke the ice. She loves breaking the ice. But there was one point that we were just like, oh, okay, it's time to go.
Yeah, like there was nothing. We
We did it.
dwindled.
We wanted to bypass
We
that.
walked all through one extremity of the airport to the other just to like save time to be with each other. And I think it was just such a strong testament for all the love that we received and all the love that we were able to give back. And it was a really hard goodbye. Actually,
Extremely hard.
probably the hardest that I've been a part of in a while.
Same.
And it was just like a love fest of why do you guys have to leave? And we're like, why can't you just come with us? Like,
I know. We
we just like need to take you. We need to take you back to the States with us. Just get
That
in our
was
luggage
just-
and that's it.
That was very
It was a beautiful
difficult.
moment. Even the men, Pabs, were getting emotional. Pabs and his
Yes.
brother-in-law were emotional AF. That's all I'm gonna say. But it was great. It was a great time. The family is amazing.
Absolutely.
We love them
amazing.
1,000%, and we're in touch with them all the time anyway.
A beautiful family. Just,
The girls
again,
are so cute.
Thank
and
you
they
for
have
everything.
cats.
Oh my
and
God, we had 3 cats.
Love their cats. Everything was great. Not
Everything,
one
right?
dull moment, honestly.
That's so true.
Which was surprising, I think, to me, that there was no dull moments. There was just laughter, a lot of tears because we all hadn't seen each other in a while, or at least Pabs and his sister. A lot of laughter, a lot of teachings, a lot of tradition sharings, a lot of table talk. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. I hope we get to see them quite soon.
And I hope we do too. I just think, again, absolutely blessed to say that we love a family and for them to love us.
Absolutely.
And what else could you ask for?
Absolutely not. Don't get emotional. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Now you said it, now I'm getting emotional.
You've been emotional since the minute I said, "Hey, let's talk about the fam."
it was
like
hard.
her lips started quivering.
She's the worst for calling me out. Jesus, let a bitch have her emotions.
Like, we're in New York.
It doesn't matter. It's just, again, it was such a great experience. So
Yeah, but we love them. Absolutely love them. Love you if you're watching. And it's just been so humbling, but also so nice to like connect with other people. That was probably
Yes.
like the biggest takeaway for me. I haven't felt that much love in a very long time from
I agree
someone.
with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Like, just hug me, love me, I'll love you back unconditionally. And that's it. We'll move on with life.
Absolutely. No, it's beautiful.
But yeah, so what did you learn about yourself in this trip?
How adapting I can be. Okay.
Sure.
I feel like I adapted
shade.
very well.
Mm-hmm.
Just that one day. I just wanted to be out early. But anyway, overall, I was very much going with the flow. I just knew I was very proud of myself for always keeping an open mind and being able to say, you know what? We made it work. Regardless of the conditions we were living, we made it work. We were staying in a room, all 3 of us. And you know what? At first, I was like, I guess I'm on the floor. But at the same time, I enjoyed my little nook. I
Yeah.
enjoyed sleeping next to Karen and her staring at me.
By the way, she just wasn't on the floor. She was on a
No,
mattress.
I was on a mattress on the floor.
Don't be
No.
pulling my people out like that.
No. But I was on a mattress. And again,
We had like all the sleepovers that we couldn't do in our early years.
for
We
16
had it
days
on this trip.
straight.
Yeah, for sure. It was arguably too much, but it wasn't too much at all.
Absolutely. But I was perfectly content.
Yeah.
I was happy in my little nook. I was happy on my top of my mattress, waking up and all of us screaming, Morno.
Yeah. We're like, Morno, Morno, Morno.
And then we had our little mascots,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really nice. Again, I was just happy that we made everything work. We were just like, it's all right. It's a small little space, but 3 of us we made it work. And that to me is already a win because, you know, a lot of people, it's very hard to travel with some people and then not fully adapt.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew that I had to put my part. And I'm pretty much safe to say that I did.
Mm-hmm.
So
You did. I'm proud
I
of
did.
you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you because the Aries in you sometimes doesn't let you do that.
Sometimes, but I think she
But I
was
think it
cool
depends
and-
with who, because I am the special gift in her life. So
She is.
you make a lot of exceptions.
I do make a lot of exceptions, but at the same time, like I said, it really wasn't a no-brainer.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
wasn't,
think it
anything
was-
detrimental.
Not at all. Again, I was very happy where I was at. That's why, again, it was like sometimes I even say to him, like, I miss my little nook.
Mm-hmm.
I miss sleeping right next to you. It's just little small things that it's a lot more important to me. Jesus with you. Just
How did you hear that?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Bionic
But why do you have to
ears.
raise your voice?
But I'm just saying, you don't miss me.
no.
You know,
You're here every week.
horrendous. But no, other than that, I mean, I've also learned all the amazing things that I experienced that I'm gonna take back with me. So
Mm-hmm.
I was happy to be exposed to all that.
That's great.
Yeah. What about you?
I have to say I learned to take chances. I'm someone who can easily shut down when I don't feel well. And I think this trip, I kind of just pushed myself to be out, like to be outside, even though I felt like crap. Couple of days, not the whole time, but I physically didn't feel well. And I was like, you know what? Like, I will feel well. And if I have to walk it off, or if I need just a couple of extra minutes at some place, then I need some extra minutes. Like, it didn't really stop me from having fun. I actually had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun exploring different places. I had a lot of fun eating the different kind of foods, mostly meat, which is true. But I didn't stop myself or contain myself from doing the things that I would normally do here. Like, I run a very restrictive diet and blah, blah, blah. Definitely was not the case over there. I was like, yeah, fuck it. So taking chances is something that I really learned about myself. And that it's okay to do it from time to time. You know, it's okay to sort of not feel anxiety about going out in mass traffic for an hour. Like, things that would highly trigger me, I still did it anyway, and it sort of proved to me that I was able to conquer that fear or that anxiety, even in a moment of like 10 minutes. Like, I get anxiety around certain things, even being in public spaces. So a lot of it was overcoming those individual fears, and just like trusting that they would find me to safety, even though nothing was going to happen to me. But it's just like human nerves that trigger you in that space. So that's what I would say I definitely learned about myself.
Beautiful.
Okay. Okay. I just jazz you up and you're like, beautiful. Okay.
It's beautiful.
All right. All right. So last question. What are you inspired to do after this experience?
Well, have more experience.
Woo! Go back to
for
RG.
That's for sure. I would definitely love to go back. And not only to go to Buenos Aires for a bit and to visit, of course, an amazing family out there, but also to go to Patagonia. There's many things I'm already listing in my head that I just need to attack again. Because again, we saw a very small portion, and luckily saw another small portion of Colonia, Uruguay. And that was very nice to see. And it was very nice to have another stamp on your passport. Really appreciate that.
Thanks, Pabs.
Thanks, P. Love collecting those. But honestly, what I really wanted, what I'm mostly inspired to do this is just spending more time understanding, I guess, traditions and values for me. Mm-hmm. I think seeing a country united, even in hard times and in the good times, they always make it out together. And I would love to bring that a little bit. I can't do that for all New York, but at the same time, I could do that with my peoples. And so I'm very much inspired in pretty much doing that. Not only with us, but with other friends as well. Mm-hmm. And again, also, it's a humbling experience.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to continue that. Mm-hmm. So
that's good.
On to the next.
All right. Well, thanks, Tal, for being here. Thank y'all for listening. This was a wonderful bonus episode. Get ready for season 2, the plug, because season 2 is coming in hot. For sure.
I'm excited.
It's all about relationships, successes, challenges. We're really going to step out of our comfort zone. We're going to have some wonderful guests, brand new guests. Thank you to our guests from season 1. Can't do it any better than the ones that we've chosen so far. But we really want to thank you for the support. Again, I can't say it enough. We're so happy for all of our friends and supporters till date. And we hope that you like this channel. Leave us a comment, subscribe, leave us a review. Any feedback that you have, we're so appreciative of it. And we look forward to seeing you in season 2. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.